All right, so welcome to this See the Stories. This is the signature segment of the 3-hour news show on See Today. Before we talk with our guest today, I want to ask Alia, what do you do with your leftover food? Or if you have a leftover food? I believe you are very responsible with your food, right?
Yeah, leftover food, usually we recook into some other menu.
Don't lie.
Seriously, seriously, or give it away as much as possible. So before the food gets spoiled,
Yes.
you have to give it away to anyone that would, be able to eat that. Otherwise,
Exactly.
yeah, because the biggest threat to me is actually to throw away from some leftovers.
That's the easiest way, right? But one of the ways that we want to make our leftover more useful, if it's not possible to be given away, to me is to make it a fertilizer. I do juicing like almost all the time, and the leftover, although it's not consumable, I try to make it a fertilizer. And it also applies to your food if you
juice,
have a leftover, right?
I mean, juice fruits and processed food or cooked food is something different, right?
Right.
Yeah, so...
Anyway, so aside from plastic waste, Alia, you know what? That food waste is also a serious matter that the public should be aware of. Many in Indonesia still need food, and this has led Foodbank of Indonesia to start measures to end food waste.
Foodbank of Indonesia is a social organization that helps to overcome food gaps in society. They are a bridge between those with too much food and those without. The organization aims to provide more food accessibility for the impoverished and boost children's nutrition. They also help raise the productivity of female farmers. And to know more about the organization, we now have Foodbank of Indonesia founder, Muhammad Hendro Utomo. Hi, Mas Hendro. Thank you for coming by to See Today's studio.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at people who are in need of food every day. We have, like, for example, the what is it called? The Yatim Piatu house.
Orphanage.
Or orphanage, exactly.
Orphanage.
Who actually need a constant supply of food as well. Maybe others in need. And we know that maybe restaurants or other food industries that actually have food and they're not using it because it's just oversupply, right? So first up, we want to know what inspired you to actually create the Foodbank of Indonesia. What kind of concern did you have?
At that moment, actually there was no something special because I was a public relation practitioner, so it is very common for me to know that there is those who rich and those in needs.
Yeah.
I'm working in the middle.
So you're bridging
between the have and the heaven. That's the beginning moment.
Right. So do you work for the hospitality industry, for the hotel, for example?
No, I had my own PR
agency.
PR agency.
Okay.
But I already closed it during pandemic.
All right. So it's really interesting if we talk about food waste, Alia and Mas Hendro, because Indonesia is actually the 4th biggest contributor of food waste in Indonesia, at least in 2023. This is the data that I got from Kompas, though. So we are only behind China, India, and Nigeria, and we are number 4 biggest food waste
the world,
right? In the world. That's quite shocking and ironic. Indonesia happened to be, if I'm not mistaken, also top 5 in 2022 or 2021. Number 1 was Saudi Arabia back then, but I think they have progressed so far, right?
Yeah. Okay, so what is the process like when you know that there are certain institutions or maybe households that have too much supply of food? On the other hand, you know that there are people in need of food. So how do you actually process this sort of like gap between the two?
Okay, actually when I start for the first time to distribute the food, I just give the food to somebody.
So your own food?
Yeah, my own food.
Okay.
And in my office with my employee, I and my wife. actually, running the office, and we start to give the food to everyone. But it is very difficult for us to start that's what you call food bank, because it's not used to for Indonesia. The concept is not common. You have to invite, or you have to give announcement to the public that there is food for free for everyone in it. Yeah.
Okay, so how do they find out about this food bank? That there is...
Okay, I invite a woman in, for example, in pengajian or informal sectors.
All right.
And I give, because I was working in public relations company, which is my own company.
Yeah.
I can tell my network.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I have a lot of network in companies, food companies. So I tell them that I start this kind of movement.
Okay.
Just about 9 years ago.
Oh, you started 9 years ago.
Yeah.
But how does the system work? You share the food, the leftover food for other people, but how you collect the leftover food from donors?
Okay. In the beginning, no one donate the food in the beginning. So I invite the first company who helped us. Can I mention the name?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Danone.
Okay.
And I invite them to make a kind of program in kindergarten, but in a lower economic class in our society. For 3 months, and give milk, and after that we evaluate the result.
Right. What do you mean by evaluate the result?
Yeah, based on my observation at that moment, in a very density area in Jakarta, the rate of hunger between under 5 years old children is around 50%.
Oh,
wow.
That's pretty
That's
high.
in Jakarta.
In Jakarta.
That's very high, let alone in other rural areas.
Yes.
In rural area, probably the rate is lower.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in rural area, we can have access to food itself. The question is, why in rural area, in villages, in the food production area, the stunting and malnutrition or undernourished children, the rate is still high. That's the question. But the food is already there.
Okay. So you mentioned that you started and nobody want to donate back then, right, 9 years ago. But then what happened? What encouraged people now to donate their leftovers food, especially from maybe from big hospitality industry, right? Big companies like hotels, restaurants. What encouraged them, and how you convinced them to do so?
The first, I invite my network in food company to get along with me. The second, I learned from my neighbor. Whenever we give the food to those in need, and it already happened for a certain period, and the people around you will give you trust.
Right. Okay.
That's the key. So I asked to my neighbor, how can you manage? You give the food every day, and a lot of people come to your house, and you do not run out the food. And he shared the story.
Okay. So how do people access that? I mean, you collect the food, and then where is the food being collected? Is it at your house? And do people in need come to your house?
In the office.
You deliver the food, or do they come to get them?
I come to get them. I invite them to come.
Ah, okay.
Because it's not common for Indonesian to come to somebody's
So you need to be
house or
inviting them.
office, yeah.
Unless me.
Yeah.
I come to my neighbor's house to seek
Ask for
food.
food. Yeah.
Ask for food.
Do you have a jug of milk or
Well,
something?
so going back to Alia's question, so they do not come to your house, but you distribute it to the communities.
Yes, yes, at the first moment. But day by day, they know already that there is a free food for them, and they have willingness to come. I mean, you know, the poor, but the poor people also have dignity.
Right, yeah. It's not like they have free food and then they instantly come to you and want something.
Yeah.
There's a program that I saw on social media, Pak Hendro, that maybe it is the same as distributing food, but still keeping their dignity by setting up a table and you put free food. So whoever passes by that table, they can take one or two for them and for their family. Do you also apply that kind of method?
What you are saying is the current situation. I mean, not 9 years ago. You have to imagine that 9 years ago, you don't have a kind of Jumat Barokah movement. Yeah. Now everyone knows that the food is
available,
and it becomes a narrative. I mean, more and more the people realize that we have unlucky people around us.
Yes.
Yeah, and
then they know the deeds will actually be very good for them to help out as well at the Jumat Barakah.
Yeah.
All right, so we want to dig more about how many people are actually, how many is the food available for how many families, for example. But that's going to be later because I think we are up for a break now, right, Rory?
That's right, and for the next, the stories will continue after the break. Of course, digging more into the Foodbank of Indonesia, Pak Hendro, he's the representative of the initiative. So don't go anywhere.